What's good, guys? It's TSG, and this is another episode of Apes Addict with myself and Vetemor. So we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things. Like if you guys watched the last episode, we talked about Web 2 games, Web 3 games, crypto in general, and just had a bit of a lot of tangents. We went on a lot of tangents, but it made it really, really fun. But anyway, yo, Vetemor, what's good, man? How are you?
I'm just looking forward to more tangents, bro. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm keen. All right, so let's not waste any time, man. Let's get straight into it. What's the first thing we're talking about?
Tekken 8. So there's been like a short trailer that's come out. Are you excited for this?
I haven't played Tekken in a very long time. I grew up with Tekken, obviously Tekken 3 with like Gon and all that. I don't know if people remember that. I remember like the bad guy was Ogre, and then you had Gon, like the little dinosaur. But yeah, no, I'm keen. I won't be competitive on Tekken, obviously, but I'll play for fun. I'm super excited. And like there was this clip that I saw, it was hilarious, of Tekken 8 on top and then Tekken 7 at the bottom, like from the trailer. And just the difference in graphics, I didn't realize Tekken 7 looked so bad. Like I just didn't realize that. So I was like, oh shit, we're really stepping up. But what about you, man? Because you're like a massive fan of Tekken, right?
I wouldn't say that I'm a massive fan of Tekken, but I've recently kind of gotten into like the
FGC?
what's even the word? Just the fan base, because Zeptal and like Setsuna are like super into Tekken. So they basically got me to watch Evo with them, which I'd never watched an Evo in my life. And that was so damn hype that I was like, I want to play more Tekken. But then like Tekken 7 is so old and it feels like such a learning curve to get in that I was like, you know, I'm just going to wait for the next game because I don't have the time to just like dedicate, and I'm just going to be a dead player. And I'm never going to be competitive. But like, I think that's the cool thing though about like new graphics, because we're so used to like insane graphics nowadays. But like the moment you compare it to a previous game, and I think, when did Tekken 7 even come out? Like Tekken 7 release date.
It was a while ago, man. 2015, 7 years ago.
2015.
Jesus.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. Let's see if Tekken 8 can stand the test of time, because Tekken 7 is still a like super competitive playable game.
Yeah, 100%. And I think for most fighting games, if they're not like riddled with like crazy bugs or bro, I think the thing that kills all fighting games, like the competitive scene, is broken DLC. Yeah, like I've seen that happen in Smash specifically. Like we had Smash 4, there was Bayonetta that came in, and like in the finals, in top 8s, you'd have like 6 Bayonettas, and you're like, yo, what is this? And no one just wants to watch it anymore. In Smash, that was Smash 4. Was that? Yeah. And then Smash Melee, I think it was Melee. It was what's it called? Meta Knight. And again, it was the same thing that happened. And now, what's currently happening with Smash Ultimate, people are saying that it's happening again. I don't think so, but like everyone's hating on Steve from Minecraft because apparently he's just like out here destroying people. So, but it's like we're not seeing too many of that in top 8 yet. But we'll see. Yeah,
definitely broken characters just destroy a fighting game.
Yeah, because it's just like it makes it not fun to watch, right? Like the fun thing is when you have like a large roster. Again, like that's why I love Smash Ultimate. It's like there's like a roster of like 80 characters, and even like what's considered low tier or mid tier, if they're played really well, they're viable. Like they're solo viable, which is insane. Like it's insane. And it's crazy. Like there was just a competition just like recently, Ultimate Summit, where the best player got absolutely destroyed. He didn't get destroyed, but he lost. Like for like the entire run of Ultimate, he had only placed either first or second, like ever. And this was the first time he placed outside of top 8. So that was like massive. Everyone kind of like was like, yo, what just happened? And he's playing a new character, so everyone's kind of begging him to go back to his old character, which I'm hoping for. But yeah, man, if he goes back to that, yo, it's because that was the craziest thing. Did you ever play Persona? I don't think you did. Did you ever play Persona? Or do you know what Persona is?
I mean, I know what the word means.
I mean, there's a game called Persona. There's a game called Persona. It's regarded as one of the best JRPGs of all time, especially Persona 5. And yeah, so there's a character called Joker in there. Like if you haven't played it, you won't get it. But anyone that has played it will know. like, yo, it's just such an exciting character to watch, man. It's so precise, so powerful, and it's just like, yo, watching it in the hands of a master, it's just like, it's like art. It's literally like watching Picasso paint or some shit like that. It's incredible.
That's kind of like what happened in like Tekken 7. Like there's like this really like tight knit like scene of like pros that have been playing for like 10-15 years Tekken, and they're just so sick. And there was this guy from like Pakistan that turned up on the scene. He had no name, no one knew who he was, and I think he now plays like this off-brand, like offbeat character that isn't even like, it's like mid or low tier or something, and he just like plowed through everyone and won first place, which was like insane, right? He did get beaten in this last Evo, in fairness, but
but it's still like, because that's what happened.
That's what a good game needs to be. Like, any character that you can play should be as good to play as any other character. Obviously there's a bit of advantage with someone like the like DLC characters that are from like what's it called, Street Fighter, but like if you're like at the very, very top of your game, that still just isn't like, you still get beaten, you still you still like can beat those like just
the
DLCs.
Like, they're not overly broken, they're not overly like, fine, give them a bit of an advantage, I get it.
They like, do like when you watch the gameplay though, and you watch pros play using them, they do look overly broken. But like then you see another pro still somehow just like take them out, and
that's what like, I love top tier fighting games, man. And again, like I say that, but it's mainly Smash, but I love watching it because it's like, yo, it's crazy to me that like, we used to play it as kids and we were like, smash attack, smash attack, smash attack, and we were like, yo, this is hilarious. Or like, if anyone had played Kirby, it'd be like, fly 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 down B, fly 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 down B, and it's like, we thought that was how you played the game, and then you watch it at like top tier level. And it's like, yo, micro spacing. It's like turn, pivot. It's like, oh shit, like damn, like yo, you. It's just crazy, like these small, minute things. And it's like, yo,
it's
this is how
level.
this game can be played. It's unreal. And by the way, Kieran, I don't know if you saw this. Kieran challenged me to a Smash thing. I don't think he gets that I'm a pro player.
You're gonna just smash him, literally.
Yo, he thinks his Kirby can win. So I mean, yo,
Lol.
I mean, when I go to Sydney, I'll take his money. I'll take his money on
That'll be fun to watch. That'll be fun to watch.
All right, let's move to the next thing.
So obviously we got to cover the Crypto Con a bit. I wish we were there. That would have been sick. But like, what have you heard? What are your thoughts?
Man, a lot of good feedback. Obviously I've talked to Dick and all these guys about it as well. Man, I feel bad for Andrew. His flight was delayed. Unfortunate. So. But overall it was really good. Dick's completely lost his voice. I don't know if you were in the chat when he was speaking. He's done. He's finished. But apart from that, like the actual feedback from the people themselves, a lot of people tried out Private Beta 2 and they're ecstatic. Like they're just, everyone has said it's completely changed the game. So I'm really excited. Again, I've played the Private Beta 2. You already know this, and I think it's amazing. New mechanics coming to Private Beta 2, as Skyrock says as well. Yeah, man, there's so many things, and I've started to put something out in just amongst the influencers as well, trying to push that out. Just because it is coming around the corner. I want to get some attention on it, and just talk about the changes, because people don't realize how big these changes are and what they actually mean for like the user experience. But what have you heard, man? Talk to me about what you've heard, because I'm sure you've talked to some people.
Honestly, I'm more like, the most I've like heard about is literally the Private Beta 2. That's been the biggest thing, and just discussing all of that. And I'm just super, super hyped because like I like when we got our hands on PB1, it was just super exciting because we finally had something. But then like comparing it to like what PB2 looks like now, PB1 looks rusty. It looks so fast paced. It looks way more like just like exciting than PB1. There's just so many more animations. The actual moves and the attacks and like the Omegas are just faster, so they don't there's no like waiting for 5 seconds for shit to happen, you know. And this cool little mechanic, I just heard about it from Scoreox's tweet, is that like first 45 seconds normal speed, but then the last like 15 seconds like they start speeding up. There's like extra damage bonuses and stuff to basically like finish the game off. so that if there is like, if you're only like slightly better than the other team, you will just win.
Yeah, so like the board starts pulsating, and it's like a zoom, zoom, zoom. And it's like every time it pulsates, you lose some HP.
Like a percentage, yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And there's just like there's other mechanics as well. I think this is public. We saw a video a while ago about the character fleeing, right? That's a video that is out. So there are things like that. There are things like that being implemented which add like another level to it, which is exciting. Like the whole Melora is meant to come up from the bottom and charm you and like bring the attention. So things like that have been implemented. I'm pretty sure that's public. I mean, obviously there's going to be like augments and like a few extra characters. There's going to be the checkpoints and all that. Overall, I think it's going to be much harder like to learn because there's just way more variables. And what I also want to remind anyone that does have private beta does have the access is that like when the game actually comes out, nobody's ever going to put you in and start playing. So like survival mode isn't the first game type you'd play. The first game type you'd actually play would be overworld, and through the overworld you start off in tier 0 areas, and that would take you through a very calm tutorial that basically teaches you like one mechanic at a time over the course of like half an hour, and actually every single mechanic in the game is very simple, but then like altogether it's a very complex, like it's like emergent from the simplicity is like complexity, which is super sick. Exactly. It's not like, that's the thing I love about this. Again, I keep going back to Smash or like Mario Kart, whatever it is, but like the thing I love about this is that the skill floor of Illuvium is very low, but the skill ceiling is incredibly high. Like once you really figure it out, like with augments and stuff, like something that I figured out is like, so augments, again, this is all public knowledge. Once you add an augment to an Illuvium, I always have to say that to remind myself, is this or not? But once you add it to an Illuvium, it gives you 2 additional bonuses. So you can choose to give it like max health or extra speed, attack speed, whatever. So like you could essentially like add a bonus to your Titanal, for example, and then give it max health and physical resist or energy resist, whatever you think it needs, and make it more of a tank with that additional bonus. Then you can go with the Scariox and say like attack speed and Omega power. So he attacks quicker, gets his Omega faster, and then when he shoots that Omega power, it does more damage as well. So it's like, damn, like you're pretty much like hyper, like making your Illuviums go Super Saiyan essentially with what their like strong suits are. So I think it just like, again, in that top tier skill ceiling that we talked about previously, I think we're gonna find out so much, man. Like, imagine like putting a duelith and a Sinalf, and you have, for example, an augment that says the people around you gain more attack speed. So you put it on your Sinalf, so your duelith gets more attack speed because it's right next to it, and then you put an augment on the duelith, which is like, yo, your your attacks do vampiric damage, so you drain some health. So he attacks faster, drains health, and then you put your 2 bonuses on the duelith to make it attack more and Omega more as well. So it's like, yo, damn, like what is going on here? Like the levels of play here are crazy now. Like the combinations you can build are crazy. So I think like it's gonna be exciting when everyone really gets their own deck. They can build up their own things and build their strategies. I think people don't realize how complex this is gonna be, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Definitely the important thing to a good game is like it's easy to play, but it's difficult to master. I think Illuvium's going to be a very difficult to master game, but accessible and enjoyable at like literally any level. Obviously the biggest concern about like what you said, which is like, oh, you like put an augment and then you stack another augment and you mix and match augments, and it's like suddenly your team could be like ridiculously powerful, and you actually don't want your team to be too powerful, just because then like people just could maybe make, I don't know, a Titanal build, making Titanal like invincible, and then like you're just gonna win every time, you know. That's just unbalanced, right? The positive thing is that compared to like TFT, on TFT you can have up to like 3 items on a character. Here you only get 2, and there's no like augment, which is like an overall thing. So
Yeah.
like that brings it in to be a bit tighter on balance wise, and I think we've got a way more like healing going on than is available in TFT.
And I also think like in regards, I'm all for making like making it like super crazy powerful.
Yeah.
Because the way I think about it is if you can do it with one thing, you can do it with something else. Which means
Of course.
there is a counter to it. You just need to figure out what that counter is.
100%.
And again, with the big brains that we have in the space, I don't think we're gonna see like one meta that's just gonna win everything.
No, I agree. It's just a matter of balancing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a tough thing to do. It's going to be a tough thing. I'm not going to sit around and say it's easy, because balancing a game with this many characters, with this many augments is going to be difficult. But if we're seeing like what we've seen from the team already, it's they have the ability to do it. I'll say that. Yeah.
The other thing that we've noticed, like on PB1, if you ever like notice while you're playing, the opponent's boards are really badly placed, and there's only like I think it's 21 positions on their board that an alluvial can be placed, rather than like on any hex. It's like certain set positions that they're ever on. Whereas in PB2, they can actually be anywhere. And based on some of the footage we've seen, it looks like the AI that's positioning has a bit more brain power than what's previously been going on. So they're actually like, going to be super challenging, hopefully.
And the enemy gets augments as well. Like there's a lot to make it like a lot harder. And I think it scales up a lot better as well. On like the couple of days that I have played it, I think it scales up a lot better as well. So the first ones are a bit easier, and then they get harder and harder until it gets to a point where you're like, oh damn, like I actually have to be properly thinking about this shit.
You have to be super like in the game.
Because I was like, oh man, for a while I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll just throw it. I won't even move things because my build was like crazy strong, and it got to a point where I'm like, oh, I can't just keep doing that. Yeah. So the next one. Let's not play this video because it might get taken down. I know GTA's on it, so just kind of put a still of it.
Is this video not allowed? Why?
Why? 'Cause GTA does not want their shit leaked.
But this is a random person that's leaked it.
Yeah. But
you're saying their video might get taken down.
Yeah. No, I'm saying they're trying to take down all videos of this leak. Anything including this leak. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, we won't include it.
Yeah. Well, we'll put an image. Like
we can talk about it though. Yeah.
Stills will be fine.
I'll be fine.
But yeah, man. Yo, what do you think?
What do you think, bro? How big of a GTA fan are you?
Huge, man. GTA is legendary. Like, yeah, man, crazy. I never played online. I don't really care too much about online, but the story is always hilarious. Crack up. I remember back in the day, like, yeah, it was just a good time. Always. And I remember playing like the bird's eye view one as well. Man, hilarious. Fun fact. I don't know if people remember this, but in like I think it was GTA 1 on the PlayStation 1. You could name your character, and if you named your character before they had like the up, down, left, right, X, X, Y, like before they had any of that shit, the way to do cheats in the PlayStation 1, the GTA 1, was if you renamed your character the shit, you would have like all of the weapons and shit. Yeah. So you'd have to rename your character this shit. So that was pretty funny. I remember that.
That's true.
But no, this looks sick, man. If anyone does find the video for this, I think it's cool. Roger made a funny ass tweet about it. We'll add that. Where he was like, "Yo, GTA 6 is being inspired by us. They're starting to leak now as well." I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. So now GTA and Diablo are leaking. So we've set a trend. So I thought that was hilarious. Obviously they didn't want the leak, but I think it's cool, man, because obviously GTA 6 is being like talked about for ages. GTA 5 came out 2013, I think it was 9 years ago. And
That's
it's finally yeah, man, they've released it on 3 different generations of consoles, man. 3 like PlayStation 3, 4, and 5. Like wow. So GTA 6, I'm excited. And like the stuff that we have seen in the video, like where they're actually like sticking people up and stuff, it seems like it's not a mission. They kind of just go holding people up. Yeah. I think that's kind of cool. I'm curious to see how it is. Like I hope to hell it's a lot better than GTA 5, which I'm sure it will be. I don't see why. Rockstar.
I mean, they've put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this. There's a lot of people waiting for this. I think it's going to be huge. Like people are hoping for a 2024 release. So it's not even like next year, right? So
I'd say 2024, yeah.
2024 most likely, but like in the past, I've actually only ever played GTA like the story mode. I never played GTA 5 online.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of sad that I didn't, because I've had a lot of fun actually just like watching other people play with friends like online. So that's actually been like a fun thing to watch, but I like never had friends to play it with. And when my friends were eventually playing it online, I just hadn't played enough GTA at that point where I was like, I'm not even gonna bother because I'm gonna be shit at this. So I'm kind of excited for a new GTA game. I'm excited for a few new games to actually like bother, because I can't be bothered to play GTA 5 if it's that old, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get it.
Maybe I'm just a lazy gamer, but I'm just a casual.
Nah, I get it. Because it's the same thing like for me sometimes, like maybe once in like 3 years, I'll just be like, man, fuck it, let me play GTA the story again, like just super randomly. But it's never like, oh, let me get into it.
Yeah.
And I think now that we're like content creators, there's communities with Illuvium, like if we decide to play online, we can, right? And we have that core community already that can join with us. So I think that's super cool that we're in that position. But yo, actually talking about GTA 6, man, there was that thing like a while ago, a couple months back, about crypto in GTA. Did you see it? Did you see that news?
No. Wait, was it that like GTA 6 is actually going to be about crypto?
Yeah, okay, so like the headlines were super just like clickbaity, and they just said GTA 6 is doing crypto. And so like there was the discussion about, are they actually going to do NFTs? Are they actually going to do stuff like that where like some of the properties online could actually be NFTs? Could that be a thing? Is that going to be on blockchain? And then you had the other side, the other group of people that were saying, are they just going to incorporate crypto into the story? Like,
I thought it was just the story. And that like
so you've got
the money within the game would be like crypto, but it's not actually crypto. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Two schools of thought. I agree with you. I think it's narrative. I think it'd be smart for them to build out the blockchain capabilities. If this is going to last another 10 years, build that shit out now. But don't activate it until everyone starts to come around. Or activate it anyway because you're fucking GTA and Rockstar and you set the trend. Yeah. That's also an option. But I think though they're 100% going to have that in the narrative. It makes no sense for them not to parody it or some shit. Like a Shiba Inu where it goes up and down, like they have to parody it. But yeah, man. What are your thoughts?
I think they're almost definitely going to parody it. I don't know how much they can be bothered to integrate it, and the fact that it is a huge risk is for them because they're just so damn big that you need smaller players to try and prove something and make it a trend for bigger companies to take it on. That gives us a huge advantage.
That's why I think they should build out the capabilities if it's going to last 10 years, because there's no way that blockchain gaming or like gaming on the block, by the way, my other podcast, gaming on the block is not going to be go away in 10 years. Like that's when we're looking to like amp up. So if this game's going to last another, let's say 5, 6, 7 years, man, they better build that shit in. Otherwise, to be honest, GTA is never going to go anywhere. Like, I think that they're solidified already.
I think they're super solid as well. I don't know how players are going to feel if they play a game for a year and then suddenly they activate crypto in it. I feel like they'd be like, why didn't I get to own any of the stuff I've done so far? You know, like, so if they're going to do it, they should just do it from the start, you know? They should just do it if they're going to do it. But they got to do it in a way that the onboarding's clean and people don't feel like they're owning crypto and all that shit, which is actually not that hard to pull off. Like you just basically make it a normal game, and anyone that chooses to plug in can, you know.
It's the same,
and you still own it like you own anything in a game, right?
Agreed. And it's the same thing that
the wallet.
It's the same thing that Kieran kind of mentioned about like how Illuvium's going about it now, the Custodial Wallet. Like I've talked to Vulcan about this. Yeah, man, it seems like it's a no-brainer. Just do the Custodial Wallet. Like, that way, if anything ever happens, like, having one Custodial Wallet, they can kind of ban it all, remint it. If there's any hack or anything, like that can be done in that way, right? It's like a safety protocol at the same time. But if you decide that you want to take the decentralized route, yeah, man, mint that shit. Like, take it to your wallet. Do your shit.
Yeah.
I think it just makes perfect sense. It's like, it's a no-brainer there. Yeah.
Totally. PlayStation digital collectibles coming.
Actually, exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. Which, if they're building this out, why not connect it to GTA, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've seen recently, like after I sent this to you, I did a bit more research into it, and they did mention that I think they might have got some backlash because, man, this is so interesting because of the conversation that we've been having of NFTs or digital collectibles.
It's because they use the words digital collectibles.
And people thought they meant NFTs, and they were still coming after them. So does that digital collectibles?
They didn't even mean NFTs. Are these not even NFTs?
They've now come out and said they're not NFTs. So they've now come out and say they're digital collectibles, but they're not NFTs.
So there's no ownership then if they're not.
It's just so you're just getting these to show off, but they're not even yours.
But how do you even get them? Right, that's the thing.
Like you could, I think you can buy them or earn them in game if you like do like some certain achievements and shit like that. You can get like these.
It's literally an achievement. It's just a glorified achievement trophy.
Or you could buy them. I think you can buy them at the same time as well.
But can you sell them?
No. But that's what's so interesting.
Then it's not a collectible.
Yeah, we don't know yet. We don't know if you can or you can't.
Let's see. We'll see. I think
this is so fascinating, man. Like, again, going into two conversations now. One, I think this is them kind of like conditioning the core community of, yo, we're moving towards this thing. It makes total sense to do that. But the second conversation that I think is hilarious is, again, the whole argument of NFTs and digital collectibles. Oh, people are going to be okay with digital collectibles. Clearly not. Because people went crazy and they're like, nah, man, this is NFTs now. What are you guys doing? So, like, clearly that makes no difference to them. And that goes into, I just don't get the psychology of, I think it's so telling that people are so against digital collectibles or any form of any extra monetization because players have been screwed so hard by these companies so many times that even the thought of an NFT is like, nah, you're taking our money. It's so sad. Like, it's so sad. I really wonder.
The thing is,
it's
I feel like it's half the conditioning that gaming has put on players of, you know, gaming's probably just trying to take your money again. You know, they've coming up with another system. It's part that, but I think it's also part NFT community's fault.
Of course.
Because almost everything in the space, like literally 99% of projects are either scams, rug pulls, or Ponzi schemes, basically. So it really is incredibly hard for anybody that doesn't spend a bunch of time in the space really looking into the technology, studying the different builders to actually assess, like, is there actually some benefits to the underlying technology that is being built here? And like any technology that's a new technology, 99% of what's being created right now is going to be dead in 5-10 years. Like, these are dead use cases that aren't use cases, but there's a bunch of use cases out there that this is going to be perfect for. NFTs and crypto, they don't solve every problem in the world. And I think some people like that are just too hyped about crypto and too invested, they think that this is the solution to everything. I don't think it is, but I think it solves very real problems, and that's what gets missed by those that are like just too crazy, you know?
Yeah. And I think this is actually is so interesting because I'm talking to my brother right now, actually, because I'll put this out there publicly. I'm actually trying to get because my brother is in Australia, Sydney, right? I'm actually trying to set him up to do a documentary on Illuvium. Like, he's down to do a documentary for free, so I need to talk to Kieran about that and make that happen. And we're just talking about like the whole idea of, dude, right now in this bear market, it's like in crypto in general, people care so much about the money, which is fine. Like, it's fine. We need to make money. I get that. Yeah. But it's like no one cares about like the narrative or like the actual like the core essence of or the value of what we're building. Yeah. And I think it's exactly right, man. Like, everyone in crypto is like, we're so invested. Oh, we're gonna save everything. We're gonna do. Relax. That's not gonna happen. But there are a few things. Like, what is the core thing that we can solve here? What's the value of this? What's the narrative that we can build? Like, again, just talking about like basic finances, like economics. The fiat dollar can just be printed out of nothing. And again, that is true of some cryptocurrencies. That is true, but in some cryptocurrencies, there is a solution there, right? And even the fact of like, man, we live completely opposite sides of the world. If I wanted to transfer you something, I can't do it on a Saturday or Sunday. If I do, I need to pay you mad amounts. Man, you might get that.
If you don't believe in fiat, and you can't just buy gold, because then you can't just send gold to anyone. It's heavy, it's cumbersome, it's in the way.
Yeah.
You can't even cross the border with it without being like seriously interrogated. Why are you crossing with a bunch of gold, bro?
And it gets confiscated.
Yeah.
It gets confiscated.
I mean, they think you're drug trafficking or something. Like,
if you cross the border, just think about that. If you cross the border with too much fiat, it gets confiscated.
Yeah.
If you cross the border with too much gold, it gets confiscated. If you cross the border with too much crypto,
you're good.
They don't know.
And the inflation side, like a lot of like, we're starting to actually experience this in the West now, and in like big countries, and now people are starting to get it. But in Mexico, just like not non-Western countries that have had somewhat strong fiats for the last like decade, like other countries have had huge inflation, and they're seeing the benefits way more. And banking is also something that is actually very like not used around the world. Very few countries use like online banking.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like,
commonly.
You exactly hit it, man. Because again, we've been so privileged to be like, we've never had the thought, if we go to the bank. Okay, like let me break this down right real quick. When you put the money in the bank, it's not your money. Like, that's it. You're giving power of that money to someone else.
Yeah.
If they say you can't take it back, you can't take it back.
Literally.
Like, that's the law.
Yeah.
But we're so conditioned to think that as someone from a Western society, if I go to the bank, I put money in. When I take it out, I can take it out. But if you ask countries like Venezuela, if you ask countries like Sri Lanka, if you ask countries in some instances in China that's happening now, you put your money in, you can't take it out. Yo, damn. That's a different story then.
You're done. You've been seized. Like, you're gone.
And that's exactly it. And that's why the whole cryptocurrency and self-governance and self-ownership is so important. And like you say, I think this is the first time in a very long time that the Western society is actually being like forced to realize, oh shit, my money isn't worth fuck all. Like, it's losing value every day. And what happens if these like banks are just like, no, we can't pay you? Like, what happens then? And I think we haven't reached a fucking Sri Lanka or a Venezuela just yet. Because I know Sri Lanka, man, they went crazy in the last couple of months. But like, we haven't reached that level in Australia or in England. But we're starting to get to a point where we need to seriously consider these things. And again, like when we talk about crypto, like, again, it's not going to solve all the problems. It's not going to solve like everything. But that side of thing, like that alone, should kind of make you realize, oh, there is value there. And it's not, oh, let's make money out of this. It's like, this is a real quality of life thing that we need to solve for. And I think we need to have these actual narrative-based discussions. That's that was a bit of a rant.
I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist in any way, like at all. But that's the one thing that I actually enjoyed when I was watching, like Robert Breedlove and some of these more like completely Bitcoin orientated speakers in the space, because they almost barely even talk about making money. Like, it's not about making money. It's literally about like the technology and its moral implications and its like philosophical implications, and how this technology seriously is like and like actually analyzing like what the hell is money and what actually is the history of money and like technology on our planet, and what does this like technology upgrade actually mean for our society, for like how we act, and for like everything. That's actually a really deep rabbit hole that, like, if you're just looking for the next NFT flip, you might be missing that, you know?
Yeah. And I won't pretend and claim to be like an expert on the history of money. I've done research. Obviously, being in this space, you kind of need to, or like you need to, I don't know. I like to be clued up. So I have done some research on it, but man, it's deep, man. Like there's so many people that don't even understand where taxation comes from. Like they don't understand any of this shit. And it's just like, damn, like the whole idea of debt is bad, like not understanding the difference between like bad debt and good debt, or like just understanding all of these things. Or how one of my favorites is growing up, a house is the best investment you can make. Bad. Like it's one of the best assets you can have. Again, that is true. It is a very good asset, but it's not always an asset in all situations.
Yeah.
It's like if you're struggling to even afford to pay off the mortgage, that's not an asset, fam. That's a liability. Even understanding the definition of an asset and a liability is an important thing to.
There's also
understand.
a lot of maintenance costs involved with a property, and like there's wear and tear where like every 20 years you have to maybe like, I don't know, change something. Yeah.
And like this is a very basic breakdown of an asset is something that gives you money. It appreciates in value, or it's a net positive. Generally speaking, that's an asset. A liability is something that's a net negative, something that's taking money away from you. If you just think about what we just said, a house has wear and tear, has maintenance. You have to pay for it. Unless you're buying a house outright or you're renting it out, where the rent is the rent is covering the mortgage payments, that shit's not an asset then. Like not technically. Yes, the value could go up, and for if you look at history, most of the time it does go up. But if you're just looking at it in that way, you need to understand the position that you're in. Like, if you don't have any actual assets, no equities, no crypto and shit like that, and your first asset you buy is a house, that's probably not the right thing to do. Again, not financial advice. That's not what I would do.
I think it depends on your priorities as an individual as well. Like different people have different needs, etc., etc.
Of course.
But like I'm pretty much on the same page, especially if you're like younger. Like a house is not only just almost impossible to buy right now, but also just like why buy a house when you could be buying like much more accessible things that have no maintenance cost, that are like, liquid and have maintenance cost. Houses older, are super unliquid. Like maybe the housing market keeps going up forever, but like you anytime you want to sell it, you're gonna lose like 5, 10, 15% just from like selling it, just because like there's so much transaction like fees and lawyer, all that shit. Like there's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Even one last thing, I found this hilarious. Like we'll go to the next conversation after this, but legitimately I found this hilarious. When I went to the accountant for the first time, and I didn't know this because I was a kid. Like I was like 17 or some shit. But I was like, I didn't know any better. But I went to the accountant to do taxes, and they're like, "Oh man, what assets do you have?" And they're like, "Oh, do you have a car?" Man, they count a car as an asset. And I was like, that's like...
I mean, it is technically an asset because you can sell it like tomorrow,
but again, like,
right?
It's a liability though. Like
it
is
100%
a liability. Yeah. You pay for it. The moment you buy a car, if it's brand new, you lose 20% soon as you leave the dealership. That's 20% down. You have to pay for insurance. You need to pay for maintenance. You need to pay for fuel.
On paper, it is still an asset though.
Yeah, but and that's the thing that trips me out though. It's like the fact that we're like, oh, on paper it's an asset.
I mean,
so,
I was a builder, and my car was my asset. I literally had to get it because driving on a motorbike every day was like starting to get a bit difficult when you've got like a bunch of tools and shit. Obviously, but I probably would never have bought a car if it wasn't for that requirement. And I'm starting to more and more look at like, maybe I just need to sell this car because
you can claim that shit on taxes as well, right? It is the business expense if you're using it, because my dad used to do that as well. Like a restaurant, you get a big thing to like move like ingredients and shit. It can be considered an expense. You can class that.
But by the way, on what I mentioned earlier, if anyone's listening and they were kind of interested about like the history of money and all of that, like there's a book called The Sovereign Individual, which was literally written the year I was born, 1997, and it predicts the rise of cryptocurrency and the digital future that we're moving into. And it's actually insane, but it's also like a long read, and it's written in a oldish kind of way. So what I'm gonna do is, if you check the link in the description, there will be a link to basically Robert Breedlove. He has a 2-part podcast on it, where he kind of just goes through it. So it's like probably both parts altogether might be like a 3-hour rabbit hole. If anyone can be bothered, that's one of the best rabbit holes I've been.
It'll be worth it. Yeah, I think that and Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm sure that's like a staple for anyone getting into finance. Rich Dad Poor Dad's amazing.
I was talking to my mom actually, and I was talking to her about all this crypto stuff and finance, and she's starting to like because my mom makes a lot of money every year and spends somehow almost all of that money, and she doesn't invest anything, right? So she has a business with mad cash flow. So I've been trying to educate her on all this stuff, and she was like, well, how, like, okay, I want to educate, like, how do I educate myself? And I was like, honestly, like,
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Just listen to Rich Dad Poor Dad, because that's where I started. That's where everyone should start.
That's where I started.
My cousin gave me Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was 13 years old. And I've had that with me. I actually finished reading that, and I told my dad, I'm going to be a millionaire by age 30. Watch. So he, every time we were on the phone, he's like, are you still on the road to millionaire? Like, how's that looking now? No, Rich Dad Poor Dad, like, legit. It's like, it's so simple. It breaks it down, and it just tells you the difference, again, like, between assets, liabilities, how to spend your time, instead of trading your time for money, like, make your money work for you. Like, all this is crazy. It's crazy school doesn't teach you this. No, totally.
Yeah, cool. All right, guys. So we kind of went on a couple of tangents here. So we didn't cover as much of the topics as we prepared, but again, we can hit them next week, whatever. But yo, guys, so like Vetemor said, we're gonna have a couple of the links down below, so definitely check that out. If you just want to get educated more on like the history of money, I'm sure we'll put a Rich Dad Poor Dad audiobook link in there as well. Again, that shit just is amazing. Otherwise, yeah, man, look, that's kind of it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Vetemor, do you have any last words you kind of want to throw our way?
I'm Vetemor, you're the future, he's TSG, and we'll both be seeing you there.
All right, okay. Peace out, guys. Peace out.